Good evening, everyone. This is Amanda Fernandez again. This is part 5 of my study guide video series. For this video, we're going to be talking about different phonics and phonemic awareness activities and kind of how you could teach them. So first things first, when you're dealing with phonics or phonemic awareness, you're dealing with sounds in different words, and if they're rhyming, if they're not rhyming. That's kind of how what phonics kind of is. Just kind of short, brief summary of what phonics and phonemic awareness is. Just letter sounds, the different letters of the alphabet, and making small words with them, and how to sound things out. So, phonics activities. Phonics is really mostly all about kind of the letters of the alphabet and if you can kind of make words with them. And phonemic awareness actually is very similar to phonics actually. When you think about it, they're very similar, almost identical in some cases, but I like to think phonics is more focusing on the sound aspect, while phonemic awareness is you're kind of focusing on the word aspect and actually sentences and sometimes sounds too, depending on what you're really focusing on. So for phonics, some 3 activities that I think I would love to introduce if I was teaching this is first and foremost sound bingo. And the way you would do sound bingo is, one, you would essentially be playing bingo, but on the bingo cards that your students are going to get, they're going to all have letters of the alphabet. And the letters of the alphabet, when you call them out, instead of saying the letter like letter B, you're going to say the word, and the students have to figure out and find that actual letter. So for instance, if let's say the sound I call out is B, 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 then the student will have to find the letter that makes that sound, which in this case would be the letter B. Next phonics activity would be sound hunt. So sound hunt is very much similar to sound bingo, only instead of them calling bingo, they're kind of doing a scavenger hunt. And you can do this in the classroom or even outside if you want to make it a little more fun, because kids like to go outside. So sound hunt is you call out the sound, and the students have to walk around or go around the area that they're in. And essentially they have to, I have to charge my computer. Essentially, they have to find an object that has that sound at the beginning of the word. So for instance, let's say I want them to find something that starts with the letter T, 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 like with the letter T. So T, T, T. So they have to find something that starts with that sound. So T, T, T. Toast. Towel. I'm trying to think what's in a classroom. Turtle. So something that starts with that sound. Last but not least, we have sound hopscotch. So sound hopscotch, one, I would kind of use this if my kids are a little more advanced in their soundage or in their phonics. Because in this case, you can use not only the beginning of a sound in a word, but also a middle or an end. So for example, let's say I want the students to be practicing the end of a word. So for instance, let's say I want them to find the sounds that end in I. So which is like AY, I think, like probably not I, it's probably A. So, but it ends in AY. So for instance, in words like way, they would have that AY sound in it. So A. Or if I want to do like the beginning of a sound, if we're still doing like beginning sounds or beginning phonics, we can also do sound hopscotch with that too. But that's something that if you want to do a little more advanced, or if your students are a little more advanced, That's something I would introduce them to. Or if we were doing something in the middle, like the oohs, like long O, like you have ooh and I believe, like oh wow, sorry, my kids did this. So like tooth versus wood. So tooth versus wood, because you got that sound, and then you got ooh. So ooh and So you have the long O and the short O, and that's in the middle of a word, so you can also do that too for sound hopscotch. And essentially they're just playing hopscotch. They just have to find that sound that they have to kind of come back to, or they have to land on, I think. It's been a while since I played hopscotch, as you can tell. I'm like trying to remember, but these are just some activities and little mini lessons that I could use for phonics activities. Now let's move on to phonemic awareness activities. So how could I teach phonemic awareness? So one, again, phonemic awareness is not just sounds and stuff, but you're actually doing like the words and stuff, and putting words together and stuff like that. And hearing actual words. So the first activity is the Do You Know song, which aka is the rhyming word song. My professor actually introduced this to us in the class, and it goes to the tune of the Muffin Man song. So, but it would go, do you know some rhyming words, some rhyming words, some rhyming words? Do you know some rhyming words? They sound a lot alike. And then you would introduce some rhyming words. So, for instance, king versus ring. King and ring are rhyming words, rhyming words, rhyming words. King and ring are rhyming words, they sound a lot alike. So that's one phonemic awareness activity that you can introduce to your students and have a fun lesson in that. And, okay, who has other rhyming words that sound together? So, and you can play around with this too. So, get the students involved, like, okay, what word rhymes with cat? And hopefully a student will raise their hand and go, Miss or Mr. So-and-so, one word that rhymes with cat is rat, and then you can sing the song. Cat and rat are rhyming words, rhyming words, rhyming words. Cat and rat are rhyming words, they sound a lot alike. So that's something fun, and actually one of my classmates did this with her, I think, kindergarten or first grade class, and they had a lot of fun doing it. Silly sentences. So essentially silly sentences are sentences that start with the same letter. I like to think of it as tongue twisters. So Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So you kind of hear that constant p sound. You can also do it with like S. For instance, I think one of the examples was like 6 snakes slithering in the sand. So you hear that S sound constantly in the sentence. So silly sentences is a good phonemic awareness activity. So it gets them aware of, okay, this is rhyming words, or this is the sound that I'm hearing in this sentence. So it's really fun. Or like pretty pink pigs playing in a mud puddle, something like that. So they're constantly hearing, and you can make it into a game. So what sound do you most hear in this sentence? So obviously if we're doing the pretty pink pig sentence, hopefully the answer would be, oh, I hear the letter P all the time because P goes p, p, p. But yeah, so that's silly sentences. Then last but not least, we have Picky Puppet. So Picky Puppet is really fun. You can definitely do this with like kindergartners and preschoolers. I don't know if first graders would be interested in puppets anymore, but definitely preschoolers and kindergartners would love Picky Puppets. Essentially, you'll have a classroom puppet, or if you have a sock puppet because you're super old-fashioned, that's okay too. And essentially, the Picky Puppet's going to be super picky, and you got to kind of get creative and go, okay, class, today I have my friend Eleanor, and she's our class puppet, and she has a bit of a problem. She's very picky on the sounds she has to say. So we have to give her words that match the sound she's saying. And again, you got to get creative, and don't be afraid to be a little silly. So So, Eleanor, what's your favorite, what sound are you going to tell us today? And let's say Eleanor gives us the sound S, S. So now we have to say, okay, class, now let's feed Eleanor some words that have the letter S, or that start with the sound S. So what words start with the sound S? And then hopefully they might say snake, snack, sit. And obviously Eleanor's very happy. Okay, here comes the next sound. What sound is Eleanor going to be asking us to give her today? And then maybe Eleanor might say, and sure enough. Okay, class, what words start with the sound? Because Eleanor will only accept words that start with the sound. So, and then of course maybe they'll say pig, pat, pedal, something like that. So that's just another phonemic awareness. So it gets the students aware of the sounds or the words that they're going to be saying. So these are some activities that we could do in class, and these are just kind of the ways that I would like to teach my class how to do it. Fun activities that get them engaged, because nobody likes to sit and listen to a teacher talk and talk and talk and talk, because it's so boring. And especially with younger kids, because their attention span is not very long, it's very short. So games definitely are something that you can give them. And obviously if we have to, we can use this and change these activities to correlate with students who may not understand the English language. So we can obviously, especially for bilingual teachers, if there are students who are in bilingual schools or are only comfortable with their native language and are still learning English, we can definitely incorporate some of their alphabet into some of these activities, which I don't think is a problem, and it'll probably be fun and interesting. So being a teacher, you gotta adapt and be ready for anything. So these are just a few ways that we can teach phonics and phonemic awareness to students, and fun activities that the students, I think, will be engaged in. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.